Welcome back to the Dark Reading News Desk at RSA25. Terry Sweeney here with Dark Reading, and joining me now is Mike Britton, Chief Information Officer with Abnormal. Mike, thanks for joining us on the Dark Reading News Desk.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
Apparently it's a new California state law that we are contractually obligated to mention AI during these kinds of conversations. Obviously it's the talk of the industry, and curious if you can just get us started with talking about some of the applications of both AI but also large language model technologies that are really making a difference in the workloads of security professionals.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is it's the same thing that the attackers are using it. And so if the attackers are attacking at the speed of machines, the defenders need to be able to respond at the speed of machine. And the only way to do that is through leveraging large language models and AI. It makes it a little bit difficult. Like you mentioned, everybody on the show floor is probably saying AI, and how do you sort out the fact and the fiction between what really is AI versus bolt-on?
Is it largely defensive applications, or are security teams also finding help from AI with more mundane kinds of tasks?
It's all of the above.
Okay.
I've seen where solutions are leveraging AI to do automated offensive security pen testing and red teaming. I've seen it where, from a defender perspective, like our solution, where we're protecting and stopping advanced attacks. And it's even if you drill it out of the direct technology for security. Like my team is using generative AI for writing policies, analyzing documents. The use cases are endless.
Okay. What sorts of responses do you have for CISOs who just wonder how can their security teams get started with AI? What specific things, if any, should they be looking for in an AI solution?
I think ultimately understanding what the use case is, understanding what problem it's trying to solve. Is it AI for AI's sake, or is it AI to solve a problem that your team can't keep up with, or you're finding traditional defenses are lagging, or just you want to redeploy your people to more useful, meaningful tasks. And so really understanding the use case, not searching for here's a solution, what problems do I have, but here's my problems and where can AI really make a difference.
You're not suggesting that there's a faddishness around buying AI solutions, are you?
I've been in this industry for almost 3 decades. It's driven on fads, but I do think this is different. Really, I believe we are in the age of AI. I don't think it's a fad. I don't think it's going away. I do think there's probably some pretenders, but there's also some legitimate use cases and legitimate technology solutions today. I do think this is going to be something that's required going forward. It's either you use it and it's part of your core platform, or you go away.
It seems to be becoming almost a standard overlay, especially where like email threats are concerned. We know that like phishing and business email compromise have been around for years, but they continue to plague industry sectors, especially like healthcare, manufacturing, and education, among multiple others. But can you just share some of the things that you're hearing from customers about how their email threats are evolving in this age of AI?
Yeah, if you look at it, it's like anything else. It's a cat and mouse game with the attackers. And when they figure out how to exploit your weaknesses, how to exploit your defenses, they're going to leverage that. And probably a few years ago, they figured out, hey, the secure email gateway is great at stopping attacks that have been seen. They're great at stopping malware. They're great at stopping things that there's an IOC for. And so they pivoted. They pivoted to let's exploit social engineering. Let's exploit the human. Let's send benign emails from Gmail addresses to get people to respond and engage and work them that way. And so really what became, we've really kind of shifted from this IOC model to a behavior model where we're all human. We all do the same, we all kind of act on a similar baseline. We may not all act on the similar baseline, but my day is pretty similar day in and day out, who I engage with, how I respond. And that's a great point for looking for what's abnormal from an email.
Abnormal itself is making some interesting moves with defensive AI, with automating of security awareness training. Can you give us some details about that?
Yeah, I've long had a pretty passionate objection to the way we do security awareness training. It's point in time, it's largely compliance driven, it's one size fits all, and that's just not the way we operate. The types of attacks and threats that may hit my inbox may look different than my CFO's, may look different than my sales team. And so why try to train and provide awareness like we're all the same type of person? The other thing is, I'm sure you get hundreds, if not thousands of emails a day. I do. If I do a quarterly phishing training or once a year training, I'm not going to remember that day in and day out, and it's not going to be personalized. So we believe taking the same technology, the same core AI that we use to stop inbound email threats, and really providing a point-in-time personalized training and awareness, and then giving people that context to their job, their role, the types of threats that they're getting right there. We believe that's a much more effective measure to actually reducing the human risk.
This is AI phishing coach that we're talking about,
Yes.
yeah? What sorts of questions should customers be asking themselves about it to make sure that it's right for them?
A lot of it is understanding your problems. I know it sounds kind of basic, but understanding the types of issues you run when you run into phishing simulations. I've had hundreds and hundreds of conversations with other security leaders around this, and I think the pain points are pretty universal, that the one size fits all doesn't work. And so really being able to see that extrapolation of here's a real attack that we stopped, we turned around and used that as a phishing simulation for your employee base, for the people that are getting those type of attacks, testing them. So you really see that one-to-one correlation to actual attack, training moment, reduction in risk.
Mike, close us out with some thoughts about other challenges that you see security leaders having to deal with this year.
I mean, the topic of agentic AI is all over the place. We're living in a world of agents, and pretty soon it's going to be a world where agents are talking to agents. Multiple agents are hooked into the same large language models. It's an increasingly complicated world. AI's got a lot of benefits, but it also adds a lot of complexity. And like I mentioned earlier, it's how do I respond at the speed of machine? How do I respond at the speed of AI?
Well, thank you for dropping by the Dark Reading News Desk and diving in around AI, business email compromise, phishing, all of it. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
We've been talking with Mike Britton of Abnormal. This has been Terry Sweeney for the Dark Reading News Desk. Thanks for joining us for this segment. We'll see you next time.